Democratic senators proposed an amendment this week that would buy time for a vulnerable group of immigrants, foreigners who have signed up for the U.S. military. Since 2008, the Defense Department has offered immigrants who join up an accelerated path to citizenship. Instead, they may be getting the opposite. A backlog in security screening for foreign-born recruits has cost many of them their legal immigration status while they wait, which means that they could end up getting kicked out of the country they signed up to serve.
John and Davis are roommates in South Bend, Indiana. They came from China to study accounting. John got his master's degree, Davis dropped out. They both wanted to stay in America, but they couldn't figure out how to qualify for citizenship. And then one night while trolling through YouTube, John saw this video.
美国国防部开办了 MAVNI 项目，专门用于吸引外国籍青年。这些报名参军的年轻人一旦服役，将立即获得公民权。
Okay, let's do push-ups.
That's when John and Davis enlisted in the U.S. Army.
Did you see joining the Army as being like part of becoming American?
Yeah, of course. I see a lot of movie about U.S. military, like say Private Ryan and Lone Survivor. They're all talking about the American soldiers. I think they have a strong American spirit and American value inside the U.S. military, and I want to be a part of it.
John and Davis joined through a program known as MAVNI, short for Military Accessions Vital to the National Interest. It allows visa holders to trade military service for expedited citizenship. But while the program has been heralded as a success, it now has an uncertain future. Immigrants have always been part of the U.S. Armed Forces, but after the Vietnam War, the military restricted enlistment to green card holders. Over the next 30 years, as green cards became harder to get, the number of immigrants in the military dropped. 9/11 changed the military's thinking on all of this, and in response, the Department of Defense created MAVNI.
One of the reasons the U.S. government could not prevent the attacks was that they didn't have enough people who spoke foreign languages to translate intelligence information that the government had received.
Margaret Stock is an immigration attorney and a retired Army Reserve officer. She helped create MAVNI.
What the MAVNI program did was it recruited legal immigrants who were in the U.S. already and who had passed rigorous background checks through the Department of State and the Department of Homeland Security. The idea was to recruit them. They'd sign up for 8 years of military service in exchange for offering their skills to the U.S. Armed Forces, and in return, they would get American citizenship expedited.
MAVNI officially launched in 2008 with 1,000 recruits. Last year, the Pentagon announced the program would be expanded to 5,200 soldiers. To give some sense of scale, that means 8% of all new enlistees would be immigrants seeking citizenship. That was the deal John and Davis signed up for. Forgo the usual process of staying in the country to enlist in the Army. In exchange, they would have their citizenship process expedited.
I was hoping I could get to, before the next semester starts, so I can renew my driver license or everything. But as soon as I told them I'm joining the military, they just terminated my student's visa.
In September 2016, the Pentagon announced that they would curtail the MAVNI program, citing the need for additional security screenings. Then in late June, a memo obtained by several news outlets suggested the DoD was going to cancel 1,800 contracts, leaving those enlistees in the lurch. The security assessment is classified, but there are other reasons why critics are in favor of suspending the program. Steve Russell is a congressman from Oklahoma and serves on the House Armed Services Committee.
I'm standing in the Bayah Market in Rashid, Baghdad.
He's an Army veteran, widely credited with being on the team that hunted down Saddam Hussein. He says MAVNI once served a military purpose, but it's turned into an immigration processing program.
It's not about charity or goodwill or any of those things. We want to be charitable, and we want to certainly exhibit goodwill, but not under the MAVNI program. It's not about charity. It is about vital technical skill, the finite numbers that might be, and ensuring the people we bring in don't harm the country. They actually help it.
这么多年了，不回来看我，唯一盼望你就是有机会回来看看我。
Over 1,000 MAVNI recruits are now stuck in immigration limbo while the Pentagon decides whether to honor their contracts and expedite their citizenship or deport them. John and Davis don't know what will happen to them back in China, where message boards and social media posts have tagged MAVNI recruits as traitors. If your contract is canceled, if the MAVNI program itself is canceled, what are you going to do?
I don't know. I don't want to think about that. That would be a nightmare for me, a catastrophic nightmare.
I really feel unsafe going back because if I go back, they're probably gonna stop me at the airport to do like investigations.
You know, the Chinese government has already know the program. Maybe already know me. If I get back, I don't know what I will face.